Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my brand new mixtape. My name is Jay,
And I'm Vilnis.
and we're back. It's Let Me Know
And we're
podcast
back.
number 18. Jeez, man,
Yeah.
we've been out this far too long. We're basically old guys now. I mean, you know,
Going senile.
back during back during the war, my dad used to come home with the I don't know, the slop, and we used to listen to the radio at dinner. We were one of the three families in the entire Western Hemisphere that could afford one. All right, so is it time for Jay talks for 5 minutes, aka the news? Yes, it's time for the news.
Oh
In the
boy.
news, in the news, the Flyers destroyed the Boston Bruins today, 4-1.
Woo!
The Boston Bruins don't deserve to win at all, and I hope they lose always, every day, every day.
Man. Take
Next
that,
up is
Boston.
Capitals on Thursday, and they also deserve to lose every day. And then on Saturday, the Lightning, they also deserve to lose every day. So
The
go
Lightning.
Flyers, go!
What kind of team is that?
Tampa Bay. I don't know. They probably got storms down there or something. I don't care. You think I care about Tampa Bay? I mean,
Nah,
Brady and Gronk are on the
man.
Bucks now, which I guess is kind of cool, but yeah.
Did you say his name was Grok?
Gronk, Rob Gronkowski.
Ah.
Vilnis doesn't know anything, so he has no idea who Rob Gronkowski is, right, Vilnis?
I can name maybe 5 sports players.
Let me see. I can name one. Vilnis. Vilnis.
Me, yeah. I play hockey.
No, he plays volleyball. He's very good at it.
That
Vilnis.
and hockey. I am a man of many talents.
Vilnis is a man of many talents and very much arm strength when it comes to serving a volleyball.
Not really.
I heard there's ancient lore in Latvia that when he serves the ball, you can hear the ringing of the bell all throughout Riga. The church bells in Riga ring when he serves volleyball.
Bang, clang, clang. That's the noise that the volleyball makes.
It's really a religious ceremony for them. They even dance a little bit when Vilnius serves it out. So I mean, dude,
We're really playing me up here.
you got those guys dancing, man. No, I said what because you continuously serve it out of bounds. I don't think I'm playing you up, Vilnius. I think I set it all up just to make fun of you for something that happened about 5 months ago.
Bruh.
Bruh is right. Brugtac is right.
Brugtac moment.
So anyways, I stream on Twitch now, so you should come watch me stream on Twitch, because if you don't watch me stream on Twitch, I'm probably going to disown you. That's probably where I'm going to go with that.
What is your Twitch?
My Twitch is twitch.tv. That's where you can find me, twitch.tv.
No, that is not where they can find you.
If you go to twitch.tv, search up Grand Theft Auto at some point on a weekday and scroll down real far, you'll probably find me eventually.
Tell them your name.
So all you have to do is type in SIR and then scroll down real far, and you may find me.
I'll do it for you. It's Sirvada, one word, SIRVADA.
Unlikely.
You kept you would the other day when you were texting about you making the Twitch, you went, "I have a Twitch now. Come watch me on Twitch." You didn't say what it was. People asked what it was, and you just never replied.
I'm not surprised. I'm not at all surprised by that. So yeah, Vilnius, you want to tell them what we're talking about today? If we are we talking about anything?
Nah, I don't know if we'll be talking about anything except for maybe our top 5 albums.
God
as of
damn!
the
What
moment.
a segue, Vilnius. Good job.
I don't. Was that a good job?
I I thought it was pretty good. I was just trying to be very over extra about it. Brugtac. All right,
Brooke.
Vilnis. Vilnis, that was great. All right, continue what you were saying.
Yeah, so similar to the movie episode, we'll just be doing a back and forth type of deal, discussing
Yeah.
our favorite albums and what they mean to us. Would you
Yeah.
like to start us off, Jay?
Would I? I would be honored. So a couple of these are things that I have recommended before. This is, I think, so. This is podcast number 2. That this is going way back from my 5th favorite album of all time is "Invitation to Hers" by Hers. No way, dude. Um, so "Invitation to Hers" something I've discussed probably at length in the second episode. So go back and listen to that. It was called episode 2, the second episode. So it'll be real easy to find. Um, so Invitation to Hers is it's a like a dream pop or like alt rock indie pop. Hers is like an
Hmm.
alternative band that I found probably so in March 2019. I originally listened to their songs like "Cool with You," "Speed Racer," which are from their first EP, which is called "Songs of Hers." And actually, I had a bit of a difficult time thinking whether I want "Songs of Hers" or "Invitation of Hers" to take up the 5th slot, because honestly, at the end of the day, those are the 2 albums I think in the past year and a half that I've like truly listened to through over and over again, other than Ailstorm. But Ailstorm didn't really make this list. I think perhaps it didn't have as much of a, effect, obviously, because it's
Yeah.
Ailstorm. But
Yeah.
Invitation to Hers, when I look at it, I think the songs, as their first album, feel so evolved and so full, like they knew exactly what they were doing when they wrote it. And I mean, some of the songs on this album are just are truly, truly incredible. I gotta like say Harvey, Manny Smile, and right now I think my favorite song out of anything right now is "She Needs Him." I love the bass line. I've been learning to play it on my bass guitar, um, and I think that album is truly the cream of the crop when it comes to alternative music, or at least
Hmm.
for me, that kind of indie pop. And yeah, I think you should give it a listen straight through, and I think it'll be a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, with Jay's heavy recommendation of hers, I have listened to small portions of their music. I haven't yet to jump into it fully, but definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Vilnius, you want to hit us with your number 5?
Yes, so my number 5 is the Night Gaunts and Days split, which is the 2015 split record from kind of, I don't know how to put them, ska, rap, reggae, punk band Night Gaunts and folk punk band Days, both of whom I have recommended different albums from on this podcast before. But this
Yeah, yeah.
album is where I think they truly shine, and although they are fairly different in style, they go together in a surprisingly successful manner. Both bands on the album share kind of similar themes throughout their music, a lot of sort of disdain for the world, but then sort of optimism that it can get better, with Night Gaunts' cover of Days Post-Party Depression and Days' Same Shit being primary examples of this. Each band has a cover of a previous song made by the other band, and I would say for both of them, they are a improvement on the original song, although both original songs are fantastic in their own right. Unlike the other albums on my list, this one I've discovered fairly recently. I probably first listened to it about a year ago, and it I don't know. It's just a very exciting but still sort of comfortable album in a way to me.
Hmm.
It's it's fast paced and fun, but at the same time, I can just kind of lounge around and zone out while listening to it, just putting me in a positive mood. Anyhow, that's about that. That's about all I have for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you recommended Days and Days in episode 2, right? It must have been when we first recommended albums.
Um, I recommended Days and Days in the sixth episode, but I recommended Night Gaunts in the second.
Yeah, but I do recall listening to them, and I quite liked it. I quite
Mm-hmm.
liked their
Yeah.
style, and I can appreciate the music. Kind of similar
Yeah.
to how I was able to appreciate the ska music that you wrecked last week, was it? I did listen to that
I believe
album.
so. Yeah.
Thought it was good. So I think perhaps this is in
Hmm.
the same vein.
Yeah. From everything I've listened in the Days and Days discography, it's all pretty great, and I would say the same for Night Gaunts. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead with your fourth, if you wish.
So I do wish. I wish for a million wishes. I wish for infinite wishes.
Hey, you can't bypass the system like that.
But what if I did? Ha okay.
Shit, I can't stop you.
Ah, man, he got me there. Um. All right then. For number 4, I have another alternative album. This is very reminiscent of about 5 or 6 years ago. Back in 2014, 2015. This album, of course, is Sad Necessary by Milky Chance. Now, Vilnis, I don't know if you knew me during my super alternative oriented 6th and 7th grade years. I
Nah, I only started hanging out with you mid
When I was
seventh
cool.
grade,
When I was
so.
cool. That's right. Yeah. Well, I was always cool. So I don't know. Yeah, that's right. He started hanging out with me when I went hardcore EDM. But
Mm-hmm.
but I must say that Milky Chance was one of the most formative, like listening to their album Sad Necessary, which I believe was their first, has been one of the most formative album listening experiences I've had. Um it's because what was just simply a song that my mom downloaded on what I want to say is November 9th, 2014, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong. In November 2014.
Wow, very exact.
That may be off by a few days, but I do remember November 2014. I heard that song for the first time before we went out to dinner, and I said, "Whoa!" My mind was blown. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I started listening to them. It was "Stolen Dance," which is probably Milky Chance's one of their most famous songs.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would say that's definitely their biggest hit.
that song has gotten around a lot of places. I think that's definitely, I've heard it on the radio before and stuff like that, which, especially in my little alternative phase, not many of these songs were on the radio like that. Um
Mm-hmm.
so when I heard Stolen Dance, my mind was blown, and I proceeded to listen to more of the album Sad Necessary. And dude, the songs on that album are, they're really something to behold. Like, the it's so acoustically focused. Like, it's like a very acoustic album with a lot of almost like a vocal sound effect kind of thing. um and I honestly think this was one of those songs that I feel like it brought like my sister and I together when we used to hang out. She used to love to listen to this, which was great because it was also my favorite album. And
Mm-hmm.
kind of this was my entry into that phase of music. If I was to give some recommendations, Stolen Dance would be, way up there. I have to say that Flash Junk Mind, Stunner, and Down by the River are three of my other favorites. And this album is very good. I think Milky Chance is very talented. I have not listened to their new stuff as much, though. I think I listened a little bit to Mind the Moon, which I believe is their most recent album. It came out last November, December. So I would highly recommend going back to this. Not really relic, but it's probably 6 years old now.
Yeah.
Never mind, 7 years old now. And I will go back and listen to that and just appreciate that because I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's definitely a good one.
Yeah,
I've listened to portions of that one as well.
I
Shall
did.
I go on to my fourth album?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, my next album is the 2004 Mummy Troll album, The Book of Thieves, or, well, I don't really know how to pronounce this, but Polytechnique. As,
That was so amazing, Vilnis.
I, I do not know Russian. Mummy Troll is, of course,
Oh,
the famous Russian rock band, and, back in the day when I was a youngin',
young
my
bull.
parents got a research grant, and I spent, I don't know, a good yearish about of my early days in Russia with them going around and getting stuff for my mother to write her book and the like. And they came across this album, and I've been listening to it since. The album is not especially fast, although not excruciatingly slow either. And I can't really say much for the lyrics as I do not understand any of them. And, in songs like She Bear, sometimes they just don't even speak Russian and they just make noises. There's the famous
Of course, yeah.
segment. I don't know if it's actually famous, but it seems famous to me. But the album is very, I don't know how to put this, I guess groovy.
Groovy, groovy,
uh,
baby.
it's just I don't know, a fun album that I don't know, I always associate with dancing. It always feels like something that would be played at a club or something where everyone would get up and kind of jig about or something.
Jig, of course, jig about
yeah,
as we all do,
as everyone says, let's go jig about, fellows.
Hey, fellows, jig about time. It's about time to jig about time. But
Yes, I don't
I think
have an especially large amount to say about this album. It's one of those things where I've been listening to it for so long, I just have grown to love it and cannot really explain my love of it properly. You may see that this is a reoccurring theme in the albums that I list after this.
that is perfectly fine, Vilnius. Is that all you had to yeet about?
Yeah. You want to go
Oh,
ahead with your third?
all right. Please cut me saying yeet about out of the podcast. Or don't and just make me seem very self-aware and very smart and brainy. My number 3 album on my list kind of signifies me moving out of the sad necessary genre and era for me, and that is Pharmacy by Galantis. Now, I was
Mmm.
introduced to Pharmacy um I think at the end of like 7th grade maybe by a friend, and she was like, you want to hear this song that's like my song with my best friend? And I was like, okay. And she showed me Runaway, You and I, and I was like, that song's weird. And she was like, yeah, I know, right? Which was obviously that thing where she's like trying to act like, oh, yeah, okay. And not act like I'm insane for like just criticizing it for no reason. But anyway, after a while, I went back and I listened to the song and I was like, that is mind blowingly good. It's kind of similar to Sad Necessary and kind of similar also to Invitation to Hers. Every song is just when I hear an album that I really like, I just can't stop listening to it. Um
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
this was like the summer after 7th grade, moving into 8th grade when you and I became really close or much closer than before. Um So this is kind of
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Vilnis caught me, right around here. Um, so
Pokemon.
couple song recommendations off the album. In My Head was my favorite song for like months and months. I think just the one song. Runaway, You and I is another amazing song. Like I said before, that's a great one. Um, Dancing to the Sound of a Broken Heart was a song that I once tried. So it's between seventh and eighth grade for us was kind of when on YouTube what was popping off was lyric pranks. So one time I tried to prank my friend with this song, but the funny thing is that it's not a very good song to prank with because the lyrics are nothing like funny or anything. So I highly regret that. Anyway,
What are the lyrics? How
it's
how did this
basically
lyric
just
prank work?
okay. So what you did was you texted people the lyrics like line by line. I will see if I can find some for you. I will find some for you, all right? Don't worry about it. I will send it to you. And you know what? Should we link it in the podcast?
Yeah,
Uh
yeah. Let's do that.
James Reacts. Great channel name, first of all. Just paste that link in there and let them take a pick from the bunch, all right?
Okay.
But anyway, if you listen to that song, Dancing to the Sound of a Broken Heart, after watching this, you will very, very quickly realize that the song is just absolutely terrible. Um, like for a prank like that. He did a lot. Wow, how many of these pranks?
This James Reacts guy.
Yeah, I used to love this guy when I was in seventh grade. It's a good reminder of how impressionable I was. He did roughly 30 of these videos. Roughly 30. Um and it's disappointing. Reading YouTuber's first tweet.
Great series, dude.
Do not microwave eggs. Uh Try not to move challenge. Impossible. Sammy Ramondo quotes 679 musically cover reaction. There's a lot of really thirsty stuff about girls being like 13 years old, and it makes me really uncomfortable given that this guy was like 17. And it's a little weird that he was like reacting to this on YouTube and like oh my god, this is a text prank that he did a year later and it has like so few views that it's almost funny. Okay, so go back and watch this guy. Go watch that. And now he's a SoundCloud rapper. Um,
Oh, wow.
let's listen.
Not a great
Lil
career
Tumblr.
pivot.
Lil Tumblr is his name. His song No Wifey. His song I'm Jealous. Riding with the Ops. Official audio. Ben 10 and Sell My Soul. Also official audio. I don't know how you get as good as James Reacts with 588,000 subscribers and an average of about 4,000 views on your SoundCloud rap stuff. I gotta say, good stuff, baby. Good stuff. All right.
Woo!
Um. Okay. Well, I was talking about pharmacy. Anyway, as a final part, the actual list of recommendations in my head: Runaway, You and I, Call If You Need Me, Peanut Butter Jelly.
Peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter
Wrong
jelly
peanut
time.
butter jelly, Vilnis. I'm going to make you dead. Okay, Vilnis, it's your turn.
Remember that back in like elementary
I
school?
do
They would
remember
play
that.
that at
Yeah,
all the school events. That's the
legendary,
worst song ever.
legendary. Yeah, I know it's terrible. It's a garbage song. It's all right. Now, way back, way back, way back. All
uh,
right. You're up,
true,
Vilnis.
true
Shoot.
brilliance. Okay, so my third favorite album is London Calling by The Clash. The Clash, of course, being probably the most successful punk rock band of all time, and well renowned by many. Uh, London Calling, I feel like, is always referenced as like one of the best albums ever,
Yeah.
even though, their biggest hits like Rock the Casbah and Should I
Oh,
Stay or
yeah.
Should I Go Now are off of Combat Rock. But,
Oh, that's right.
even then, I feel like
Yeah,
London
yeah.
Calling is far more iconic. London Calling is another album that I've been listening to forever. Listening to that one since I was in the womb.
Of
Uh,
course, yes, Vilnis.
the songs are fun to listen to, although, sometimes they handle more serious topics, racial violence and social isolation and the like. But still, it remains a fairly upbeat album, I guess you could say, if you don't really think about it. And I'm someone who typically, when listening to music, is not the most focused on the lyrics. I kind of just think about it as, I don't know, the whole package as it goes into me. And then or I guess kind of the mood of the song is what I think about the most when listening. The album, is very clearly punk rock, but kind of mixes, a grab bag of other genres. You could say there's a bit of, I don't know, reggae influence or pop influence on it as well, which clearly helped it to reach the mainstream success that it had. Certainly deservingly so. The album is something that, I don't know. Once again, I feel like I have to say that I've listened to it for so long that I just can't really express why I like it so much. The album back in the day used to be the default album for when we were cleaning the house. I guess that's sort of twisted the effect the album has on me. For, whenever I listen to it now, I'm always kind of pumped up afterwards and always feel a bit inspired to go and actually get something done, go and do something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think part of music is the central experience of it's experiencing the feeling of listening to it, and a feeling is kind of difficult to describe sometimes. A certain type of bliss. It's not always the same, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess before going, I'll recommend two specific songs if you don't want to listen to the whole album. My favorites are Spanish Bombs and Lost in the Supermarket. Oh, also Death and Glory.
There you go. All right then. I'll definitely give that a listen. So number two for me is "Stories" by Avicii. Now, "Stories" I believe is a 2015 album, if I remember
Mm-hmm.
correctly. And
Yeah. This is the album that you recommended in one of our unreleased episodes recorded at PSTV.
did I really? I do not remember that. Yeah. All right. Um, this was like Avicii's second album. And man, this reminds me of a great time. So I got this around Christmas time in 2015. And this reminds me of a trip that we took to Italy. And this was what I listened to constantly. Some of the songs on this are just absolutely incredible. I think Avicii as a whole is he's one of my favorite artists ever, and I was, heartbroken by his passing last year, or oh my god, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was definitely one of um, the formative artists, especially like I mean, I'm not like old now, but since I was littler, and just this album, I think there are so many gems. And so many songs that are good for different reasons, and I always appreciate how he has such a wide variety on on his albums, whether that be True, that for his first album, whether it be Stories, whether it be his third album, which for some reason it was called Avicii '01, or whether it be on Tim, which was the tribute album. All of them, and as well as his earlier singles. I Could Be the One's a great example. Like, I feel like there is not, well, there are songs, but to an extent, there's no quote true Avicii. He has this style that
Mm-hmm.
is such a widespread thing, and I can't help but appreciate that so much. um so off of this album, Waiting for Love was probably one of the more famous ones. This song is absolutely amazing. The music video is fantastic too, by the way. Touch Me is a
Mm.
very groovy song, as Vilnis used to describe one of his albums, groovy. um For a Better Day is great, and there's a really strange music video that I think is very good. Um, well, it's I'm not going to describe it. You should watch it. Broken Arrows is great because he dips back into the pool that's like, Hey Brother. He goes back towards country music, towards a bit more of a twangy sound, which I absolutely love. I love Sunset Jesus. That is a very upbeat and blissful, calm song, or sort of. Somewhere in Stockholm is also one of my all-time favorite Avicii songs. I love the soulfulness and how much it feels like it comes from his heart. It talks about his past and what he experienced, and I really, really like that. And I'd have to say Gonna Love Ya is another groovy, groovy song from him. And if you're looking at um, the UK or Japan and Russia version, whatever, there's also songs like The Nights, which is another one that's fantastic, and Levels, which is, that was his original popular song from 2011. So all of those, not all of them are on it in the US version, but I must say, please go give this a listen, because this is honestly, this album is one of the more important ones to me. Just because of the experience it gave me, and this is the last Avicii album that I listened super religiously to. Like, it was to the point where I didn't even know that his 2017 album came out,
Oh,
um, until probably like 8 months later, maybe. So this is something that is amazing and should be listened to more.
I agree. Avicii has some pretty good songs that I've heard over the years, and many of them come from that album.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with what you said about his versatility in his style, often never really sticking to a specific type of thing, I guess.
yeah. I think there's something wonderful about his music and his style, and I if you don't listen to Avicii, I do recommend it, because I think at the end of the day, there's definitely something for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right then,
Yeah. Shall I go on with my third,
go
or
on, Vilnis.
second, rather?
Go on, Vilnis. Live your life.
Yes, yes, I shall. My
Go on,
second
butterfly.
favorite album, as of now, is Addicted to Bad Ideas by the World Inferno Friendship
Oh
Society.
yeah.
Their 2007 concept album about, famous 1940s actor Peter Lorre. The World Inferno Friendship Society I have discussed briefly on this podcast before. I don't think I've recommended anything of theirs uh, specifically, though. I would probably consider them to be my favorite band. Uh, Once again, mostly being just because I've been listening to them since infancy, and I'd say none of their songs have ever really grown old, I guess, Each of them still remains just as good as when I heard it the first time. And this album certainly fits into that category. Uh, it tells the story of, Peter Lorre's life, as I explained, or as I said earlier. Peter Lorre being a Hungarian Jewish actor, who's alive in the 1940s. Or he came over to the United States when Hitler rose to power and began a rather successful acting career. He's mostly known for playing villains and playing characters in horror movies. His first big break was, I think, what's that movie? The one that, it's called, M. That's the name of the movie. It's the one that the album cover of
Huh.
Addicted to Bad Ideas mirrors, the one with the hand reaching out into the sky. He plays a serial killer who preys on little girls. That's not all he was kind of shoehorned into. His most famous role is he plays the main character in Casablanca,
Yeah,
which is a pretty good movie.
that movie is
Uh,
fine. Watching it in the dark in French class.
yeah, watching it in French class was not the best way to experience it.
Not at all.
Um, but I wouldn't say that I disliked it.
Fair.
Anyhow, World Inferno Friendship Society are a punk rock band, or more specifically, a cabaret punk or circus punk band. I know nothing about cabaret punk music. They're the only band I know that falls into that category, and circus punk is a title I believe that they came up with. So, basically, it just means that they use a wide variety of instruments. This album features everything from saxophone to violin to the piano to, everything else from your punk album. These songs do a pretty good job of telling the story of Peter Lorre's life. I wouldn't say that they perfectly communicate everything, and I don't think that's their intention either, but once looking him up after hearing the album or realizing the album was about him, you can easily make connections, with the most obvious being, M is for morphine in correlation to his growing morphine addiction as doctors
Yeah, yeah,
served it to him in big doses as he
yeah.
slowly died. Another pretty big example is Everyone Comes to Rick's being, you know, connected to Casablanca, where Rick's is the diner, I guess, that the movie takes place in for the most part.
Uh huh.
But plethora of connections to make. I would not say that I am the biggest fan of Peter Lorre, so I don't really notice all of them. While I feel the album is probably much more enjoyable to those who are big fans of Peter Lorre, it still is a very, very fantastic album, whether or not you know of his career. I was not aware of him for many years until, I was like, oh, that's what this album's about. It's a fun album, definitely worth everyone listening to.
I think World Inferno is fantastic.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we've talked about several times, I've gone to. We went to their concert, and I think it's definitely. Their music is great, especially live. I haven't listened a whole lot to the
Mm-hmm.
recorded stuff, but I must say,
Yeah, no. They have the best live shows of any band that I've ever seen live, I would say.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You want to go into your first place, or do you have an honorable mention or something?
I have an honorable mention. It is just a it's just a quick one. I'll mention, and that album is "All the Little Lights" by Passenger. This was a song, an album, I guess, from like 2012.
Mm.
Roughly, that's when I started listening to it, I think. And I used to love the song. Passenger, if you don't know Passenger, his story is that he was homeless and started singing, and somebody saw him singing and thought it was fantastic, and he was eventually able to make it musically, at least back in 2012, and I think he still has some traction nowadays, and I loved that album. And I think like my number one off that album was "Let Her Go." "Wrong Direction" was great, and uh, and there was another one that I cannot remember, but that album is fantastic. So that was all I had to say for my honorable mention. You should go listen to that. Should I give my number one?
Mm. Yeah, drop it.
I'll be mildly brief about my number one because I've talked about it before on the podcast, but that is 20 Something by Jamie Cullum. I just recommended this recently.
Of course, of course.
That album is something I've been listening to since I was probably about one. It came out in 2004, and it is honestly it's pretty much uncontested. Um, it's completely uncontested in the top spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even like jazz is my all-time favorite genre, but something about that album and the reminder it gives me of when I was a little like a toddler is irreplaceable by any other album. So I wouldn't be surprised if it stays up there for a long time. Like I said before, go listen to 20 something. These are the days. Um, Singing in the Rain is great. I get a kick out of you. And you know what? Just listen to the whole thing. Listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, I have actually listened to that album in
Yeah,
whole,
yeah.
and
How do you
that
like it?
one is quite great.
Yeah,
It's pretty fantastic. I would not consider myself to be a fan of jazz at all, really. Um, that album still manages to be quite a fantastic listen.
now you got two out of stations, so go listen to it, or like some problems are gonna happen. We're gonna cause a ruckus, if you know what I mean. All right, man, you're up. Number one.
My favorite album as of now is another World Inferno album,
Oh yes.
and this one being Red Eyed Soul, the 2006 one. This one is kind of the fan favorite. Seems to be everyone who's a World Inferno fan's favorite album, and as Jack Terracloth has gone on to say, his reasoning is just that they worked so incredibly hard on it and had, I don't know, kind of the best lineup of the band's selection, because they've had like 40 members over the years. Normally they have about 7 at a show at any given time. Anyhow, the album, I can't really say why I like it more than Addicted to Bad Ideas. Maybe just that it's, I guess, a little less cabaret, per se, often featuring a bit more alternative rock inspiration. I don't know if this is actually true, but it kind of sounds like it, I guess. uh, Both Addicted to Bad Ideas and Red Eyed Soul feature songs that were from previous records and I guess EPs as well. With Red Eyed Soul, I think has the entirety of the Speak of Brave Men EP on it. This may come off as a negative to some. I don't really know. I feel like each song still flows very well in listening to the album. Maybe I like it better just because they're more like single songs off of the album that I have listened to more just on their own than I have Addicted to Bad Ideas. I often listen to just the World Inferno album in their entirety fairly often rather than just listening to specific songs. As you know, whenever I hear a song come on in my playlist, I go, oh, I should go listen to that album.
Yeah.
uh, and this album and Red Eyed Soul certainly features probably all of like my top favorite songs of theirs, you know?
Hey, that'll do it, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Uh Red Eyed Soul is one of those albums that I've just been listening to forever and has, I don't know, it just kind of represents something bigger than just the album to me.
It's a big part of your life, huh?
I guess that could be a way to put it, yeah. Uh
Hey, but hey, at the end of the day, right? Just for anybody listening, I think it's interesting because I think we let music define us outwardly, like our music taste is going to drive someone away or something. You know what? Listen to what you want, right? And you don't need to have a reason why you enjoy something. I don't know why I like One Direction sometimes. Don't ask me, all right? They made some bops in 2014, all right? Like, that's just how it is. So at the end of the day, like what you like, enjoy your music, and let it form you the way you want to be formed or the way it ends up forming you. And sometimes it's difficult to put it into words. Perhaps not for me because I like to talk and it's easy or I like to perhaps elaborate and it's easy for me to do so and just continue and continue and just never stop. Um, but maybe for you, like Vilnis, it's not so simple to simply comprehend your feelings towards something, and that's all right. So, yeah, all I got to say about that.
Thank you for that. That is definitely something that is true.
Yeah. So, we all find our music at the end of the day. We all find our niche. Doesn't matter what it is. It's all whatever you want. But yeah, so
Mhm.
is that all we got, Vilnis?
Yeah, that's all I've got to say.
That's all I've got. I really
Mhm.
appreciate you guys listening. Much love from
Yeah, thank
us.
you.
We hope that you are
Mhm.
enjoying these kind of top five / more personal discussions that we've been having, or at least 3 of the past 4 episodes. We took a little bit of time to prep for this one just to get our thoughts together on what our top fives were. And I hope it's paid off
Mhm.
and I hope it's entertaining. And I prithee, feel free to let us know if it is because I would like to know if you want to see more of this in the future.
Mhm. Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment, shoot us a message, whatever. If obviously you have a
Mhm.
contact.
Mhm.
And all right,
Yeah.
peace.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. I can't wait to watch James reacts after this podcast, guys.
Let me unplug the fan.
Ow.
Bruh.
Bruh. Prank calling prostitutes? Yep, of course.
I don't know how to talk about music.